Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Hello, yodelers. We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I'm your host today, J5th, with
Jackie.
and
I'm the Disney know-it-all, Peter!
well, nice to have you there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have
Father Yodeler.
all right. And so today we are going to be Disney gatekeepers, Disney fan gatekeepers. What we did is that we've come up with these obscure Disney facts to kind of see if one another knows these kind of things. And I don't really expect us to know. And if I did, I'd be kind of like a little nervous. But, because we all, like, this came about because when you tell people that you're a Disney fan, you get this automatic, like, let me test you.
Yeah,
And they're
Yeah.
becoming Disney fan gatekeepers. Like, I'll show you how much, like, you are part of my club. Or maybe I'm not in your club. And so there's this nervousness about these type of people.
Like, when I see people like wearing like a lot of Disney merchandise, I'm like, oh, they're a Disney fan, and I want to talk to them like about Disney because I'm excited. It's like, oh, it's a new friend maybe, right? But then I get hesitant of like, are you gonna just like try to attack me and be like, oh, I'm a bigger Disney fan than you? And it's just like, I just want to talk Disney.
My Disney podcast has more followers than yours.
About how many years has your podcast been going on?
We have endurance and consistency.
That's right.
Yeah, it's you get that nervousness, and you get people that'll start testing you and asking you questions that are very specific, and you're like, my mind doesn't work that way. I'm just a fan, and we just talk about.
Yeah.
My least favorite are the ones that are just like, because I had a coworker and he was a young kid. He was just he's like, oh, I heard you like Disney. Well, I bet I've seen more Disney movies than you. And I'm like, sure, dude.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
you bring to the
don't.
table.
I don't care. And it's all like, I was like, let me throw one movie title out there to
You
see
Disney gate him?
A little bit. It was a Disney test.
You want to bring humility.
It was more of like just to see where he was at. And I said, have you seen Saludos Amigos?
Oh yeah.
And he was all like, what's that? And I go, that's all I needed to know.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to know.
You shall not pass.
All I needed to know.
Okay, you don't know.
I don't need to entertain this competition that you're trying to start with me.
You
'cause I
can't
already
even
know.
count to the first 100 animated films. You know?
I mean, I would say out of all the Yodelers, it would be a toss-up between Father Yodeler and Peter of biggest Disney fan.
I've forgotten more than Peter will ever know.
Yeah. This is true. I'm not going to deny that. I have my list, and you've probably been like, yeah, I knew all that. Yep.
Well, he'll chime in, and we'll ask. So what we'll do is we'll ask a question, and we'll see if anybody knows the answer. And we'll keep a mental tally. Like the points don't mean anything, right? At the
Yeah.
end, kind
I
of
got
like
500 points.
whose line is it anyways from
Yeah.
the 90s? So yeah, I will start off. All right. This one's a movie, and what we'll ask questions from like movies, parks, shows, or animation, just anything Disney. It may be more movie or maybe more park based. So enjoy the weird, obscure Disney that you're going to learn today.
There's going to be a lot of obscure Disney you're going to learn.
and don't feel bad that you don't know, because guess what? We're probably not going to know it, and we
Yeah.
will judge harshly if you do know all this.
That's what scares me the most, is that I probably will know most
do you
of
want to
this.
show your colors and like? You want to be our Disney weirdo level?
I'm already at that level. I'm on a Disney podcast that I constantly expose myself for my Disney nerdum. So let's go for it.
Let's go for it. In the movie Santa Claus 2,
Okay.
Okay.
Oh boy.
all right, there's a character, a young girl named Lucy, She is Charlie's stepsister. So Charlie's the son that was
In the first
in the first movie.
Right.
She has a famous TV show dad that we have been exposed to by Father Yodler. It is one of his shows that he, shared with us.
Her real dad.
Her real father.
Her real father.
Her real father
Okay, not
is
not the
an
character.
actor. So she is a Nepo baby. For those with the hip lingo now, who got the Riz.
I don't know. Is it Dark Shadows show?
No.
No, it is not Dark
No.
Shadows.
I
That
was
would
just-
be she would be a lot older if it was Dark
I
Shadows.
was just trying to think what unique shows Dad has.
You still work through it.
He,
work through
you
the
said
shows
he,
that
you
Dad-
said he introduced it to us.
he
right?
has exposed us to the show from his childhood.
from his childhood.
So
Yes.
it's Doctor Who?
Nope.
No.
No, I'm thinking Lost in
Oh,
Space.
but- Bonanza?
That's what I was wondering. Huh? But who's
Bill
the
Mummy.
I was
So
thinking
now,
that's gotta be
now
the
you
only
look at her.
one.
She's a little redhead kid,
Ah.
and what was Will Robinson? So Lost in Space that has the robot that goes danger, Will Robinson, danger. Like that's
And we're
kind of
not-
pop culture.
And we're talking the show, not the movie.
Yes. Yes.
And
the-
not
yeah.
not the Netflix show.
No, yeah.
The
This
original
is the original
CBS.
Which I still have yet to see
1968.
the Netflix show. I haven't seen.
Oh,
that
it's
one yet.
good.
It was great to see it featured on the John Williams.
Oh, was it?
music by John
That
Williams.
just got
I,
released.
I've only seen that. I'm only halfway through that right
Well,
now.
you saw
so-
the part then where he composed "Lost in Space"
Oh, yes.
on the
Yes.
ukulele while
Yes.
he was in Hawaii.
Yes, I did.
And that's
see
how
that.
he came up with the more famous second theme.
So yes, Billy Mummy is the dad of her, and I was like, and you look at it, and you're like, yeah, that's totally his daughter right there. And I learned that when we were doing Santa Claus 2, and I was like, oh, that's a weird obscure fact. Let's just throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I did not know that. I know Lost in Space really well, but I did not know that was Bill
Gosh.
Mummy's.
What kind of Disney fan are you?
I
Don't even know.
Well, that was my first guess when you said it was from his childhood. I go, okay.
I had
well,
to
let me-
throw some breadcrumbs out there for you guys to,
That-
because I was
that-
like, this
that
is
helps.
way too obscure.
Yeah, I
and,
wouldn't
like,
have ever.
I
gotten it.
did not know Bill Mummy had an actress as a daughter. So that's interesting. I will probably remember that. I was
You're welcome.
I was struggling with Santa Claus 2. As I said, how long has it been since I've seen Santa Claus 2? What happened in that movie?
That was the one where Comet ate all the Nestle, crunch bars that were in circles that we loved as kids.
Right.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he was like, blah, 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 blah. Comet, you're not supposed to eat that. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Jackie, you got something for us?
Yeah. Do you know why cast members can't have beards in the parks?
Like what the original rule was.
Yeah. Why?
They didn't want us looking like carnies. That's
It was
how I
it
felt
was
like
something
that.
like it was like a hippie thing, wasn't it?
a
Like
hippie dippity thing.
I don't know the specifics. I mean, I can say, well, that
The
was
next thing I would
clean
think
cut
is
look then.
It's
but-
a safety issue because I've got a long beard, and when I'm working with power tools or anything with moving function, I have to really secure my beard and put it up because I've seen enough videos where I've seen beards ripped off their face with a power drill. So I was like, no, I don't want that.
It must have something to do with the seventh dwarfs, but, or at least 6 of them.
It's because Walt loathed beards.
Loathe.
Loathed them.
Oh.
But he had his
What?
little Diego stash, his little
Yeah.
little mustache he had.
Beards, yeah.
Mustache is cool.
Beards,
Beards, no.
no. Walt hates beards.
there you go.
Well, beards were going out of style at the time he was born as a child of the early 1900s.
You look at the
Right.
presidents of their time; they had all those beards
Yep.
in that 19th century, and then it was all clean shaven.
Yep. And so it was right in that period. So yes, I can see where he would have thought that no.
And you wouldn't get any more beards until like the counter revolution,
Yeah.
post-war.
Yeah, your great grandfather had had a Hitler mustache until Hitler ruined all that, and then it went out of style. You know,
He's like, great, now I can't do it anymore.
Yep.
Well, I'm
That'd
glad
do
he
it.
decided not to continue
Yeah.
it on.
That'd do it.
It was the chaplain. I get it. Mm-hmm. He's a movie star.
Yeah.
All right, Peter, what do you got? What kind
Well,
of obscure fact do you have?
You mentioned the Seven Dwarfs earlier, so let's do a Seven Dwarf one. So when Walt Disney World opened, the parking lot, obviously they all given Disney characters names.
Ooh, I was going to do something parking lot. I'm glad you did.
They were all named. There were 6 parking lots, all named after the Seven Dwarfs, except for one. Which one was not given a parking, and why?
I say grumpy
Okay.
because you don't want to start off with a negative tone.
or dopey, because who wants a dopey driver? You
Or
know?
sleepy
Oh,
driver.
sleepy driver.
I'm going sleepy.
You are all wrong.
Oh.
It is dock, because the Imagineers thought people would get confused with the boat dock.
Okay.
It sounds like a dad joke, but that's the reason why Dock didn't have a parking lot, is because people thought the Imagineers
Oh, I'm
thought
parked at the dock.
yeah.
Oh.
It reminds me.
I'm at the Mark Twain.
It reminds me when I was at the first D23 convention, and Dave of Ask Dave was
yeah.
there, and I just walked up to him, and because I had this question, and I thought, so do you know when the parking lot shuttle started? Was that the first day, or did it get introduced later? He didn't know the answer. He was.
You stumped Dave.
Whoa,
stumped
you
Dave.
Disney gate him.
I feel bad about that, but yeah, I
You
guess
shamed.
Well, now he
Dave
probably
Smith.
knows the answer.
I think I learned later that it was their day one, is what I recall, but it may have been one of those facts I forgot.
It was probably like the same thing, like when I shamed the tour guide for not knowing who painted the back murals at the
Yeah.
Grand Canyon and the
How
Primeval
could you not
World.
know?
Who did paint them?
Claude Coates.
Claude Coates.
Oh.
It's like the one fact I
It's
remember
it
from
was the windows.
From the
It was like your
from
first
the
windows.
Okay, all right.
From the windows.
Okay, you didn't know this before.
I didn't. Well, I knew
We've
it-
learned a lot in the last 4.5 years we've been
I'll say
doing this. I'll say that.
I didn't know the answer
also
when I
forgotten a
asked the
lot.
question. I did learn before we did the podcast. though.
Okay.
I will say that.
All right. So you were asking a real question.
I asked a real question because I
Okay.
didn't know.
You weren't trying to.
And
stump
they were
the
like,
Trump.
I don't know.
All right, I got one. So back in the day, Walt and Hollywood would go to the Brown Derby, and that's why we have a Brown Derby at Hollywood Studios to kind of like bring that old Hollywood into the theme. He had a favorite meal that he would eat. What was that meal? And it is currently served at the Brown Derby.
At the Brown Derby? Okay. Well, I mean, it's got to be the Cobb salad.
Nope.
That's what the
Nope.
Brown Derby was famous for.
It's famous for, but that's not the meal
I
that he
know-
liked.
I know there's
Walt
chili.
likes his
Walt
chili, but I don't think
that
they
was.
have chili there. do
They don't have chili there. I say that without knowing. Again, Captain Hook is French, all right? When I say stuff like that and people are dead, they're not really dead.
I keep thinking there was chicken involved in this. No chicken.
It's got to be like a steak,
It is a Midwest kind of meal. It's not.
like a country fried steak. No.
Are you guys ready for it?
Yeah.
Yep.
It is a roast beef hash.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
That was, and you look back and you're like, yeah, Walt was all about his like Midwest like upbringing, and his food and taste was that.
Now that's not one that I forgot. That's one I didn't know, but it will be one I will forget.
This one,
Yeah.
you'll see roast beef hash on there and be like, that's Walt's meal.
All right. Have you ever considered why some princesses wear gloves and some don't?
I always thought it was a historical thing, based upon
So do you
what
know
they're
which
depicted.
ones do and which ones don't?
Yeah.
So I keep thinking which ones went to the ball. Those are the ones that would have a.
I always thought it was who.
It's a formal thing to wear gloves. So
I thought it was
it's-
just
it's gotta
protection
be
from
those.
antibiotics. They didn't have antibiotics, and so they were worried.
Is this like a practical answer, or is this kind of like a historical fan theory sort of thing?
Probably more practical.
So like this has to do with like the real
Oh,
world.
no.
No. Okay. So this has to do with like the design of the characters.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe it's a practical in the sense of like drawing.
Well, which ones wear gloves?
Cinderella.
Cindy has
wears,
one.
Uh,
Aurora doesn't. She's open hand, but it
Yeah.
comes up to her wrist. Did Ariel have
she wore
gloves?
fins.
No.
No.
You know what, Dad? You're right. You got me there. Totally-
Gatekeep right there. She had fins, no gloves.
Yes. Yes, you're right.
I don't believe Jasmine wore
Elsa
gloves.
wore gloves.
Elsa definitely wore gloves.
Rapunzel doesn't.
Who else had gloves?
Pocahontas. No.
No.
There's only 3 princesses technically that wear
What's
gloves.
the
We're
third
missing the
one?
we're missing the last
one.
Man.
There's one you mentioned that I never thought of.
Elsa.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, we that's part of the movie. It's pretty significant.
We're not going to conceal that, but we
if-
will.
If you were
Conceal,
looking at
don't
a list
feel,
of
you
princesses, oftentimes they'll leave the frozen princesses
because they're
off.
too they're
Yeah.
too popular.
They're too popular. They're too new.
They're
She's
their own
queen,
brand.
but she was princess.
So Elsa's not one of the 3.
Oh, okay. So
So
back
we-
to
All right.
one.
Are we
Missing-
ready?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
go for
let's
it.
do
All
it.
right. So the princesses that wear gloves are those that were married into royalty. Belle, Cinderella,
Belle.
and
Forgot about
Tiana.
Belle.
I was wondering if Tiana was gonna pop up in that.
Tiana.
one.
Oh yeah,
She
Tiana,
married into
yeah.
royalty.
She married all other princesses that were born into it. Don't have gloves.
Except for Elsa.
Yeah, Elsa. I was like, oh, but does she wear gloves after her transformation?
I
Like,
would think not. I think she didn't want that kind of.
But she was a princess before.
Yeah, and I think
But
you're right.
this is regarding in the parks.
We're gonna be apologetic on this
in
one.
the parks.
This is meet and greet in the parks.
Okay, that's
So next time when you see him, you'll be like, "Oh, she's wearing gloves. She's not true blood royalty. She married into it." Ugh.
See how far that gets you. See what conversation you get.
And I would like to say something like that and see her just like so mad. Turn around and be like, "Oh, can't believe."
do that to Cinderella. See how her demeanor changes right there. Sweet Cinderella
Are you-
turn into like, you know what?
That's when you just say like, "You're not a very good Cindy," and see her face at that.
Oh, someone's a little grumpy.
yeah.
Again, you stink at being Cindy. You just used Snow White. You forgot your face. All right, Peter, you got something?
So most of my facts, I didn't write them in question form. They're just kind of like random facts. I guess I can kind of combine all of these into one. So because I did kind of make it into a question. So I've got a list of potential shows that may have existed in a Disney park at one point or another. You need to find out which ones are real and which ones are fake.
Oh boy.
Dick Tracy Show,
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs Live,
I'll say so. Why not?
Doug Live,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a
Yeah.
Doug show. These are all Hollywood Studios kind of shows.
Goosebumps,
Goosebumps.
I don't think so.
Doesn't sound right, but I guess.
Barbie,
No.
No.
Ninja Turtles,
Yeah, I remember the Ninja Turtle
Oh,
vehicle.
yeah,
Remember
right,
92?
yeah.
a different Muppet show, not the 3D show, but a different one.
Well, they've had
Well,
a few.
they
Muppet
have a
shows.
few. They have the patriotic one and
Like
Liberty
older
Square.
older than Muppet Vision 3D.
Prior to Hollywood Studios.
I'm gonna say yeah, probably.
I don't
It,
know.
there it is. It's called Here Comes the Muppets. We can talk about it here in a second. And the last one I have is Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
I hope not.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I guess it could be.
Was it Touchdown?
I'm not sure which
Ooh,
company.
we stumped.
I don't know
Peter.
if Ace Ventura was Touchstone or not. But all of these were shows in Disney parks.
I would not want to do the Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura, it ran
Well,
for
I
like
could see it. You could
it was
introduce
promoting
animals.
it was promoting the second movie. And I watched the show, and
Bumblebee tuna.
it is literally like you've got like the host of the show who's kind of like feeding lines to Ace Ventura, and he's kind of spitting off his catchphrases as he's doing. He like climbs up to he rappels down one of the streets of America, then climbs back up on the other side, zip lines across to get a spider. It's a pretty elaborate show, but it's just him quoting his catchphrases from the movie.
Alrighty then.
Yeah,
So
all
it's
of them.
not an animal show.
It's not an animal show.
You would think it would be
It was
an animal
it was in the
show.
MGM Studios.
Oh gosh,
Um,
that's horrible.
Most of these were in the MGM Studios.
Yeah.
I would say
Um,
so. The Barbie one, I was like,
Barbie
doesn't
one,
surprise me.
that was Epcot. That was in Epcot.
Okay.
Yes, that's an interesting history about it. It was because it came about around the same time as like this Barbie anniversary, and so
They paid a lot of money to get into Epcot.
right, and so they had actually two versions of the show. The first show was like really bad, and so they had to like rework it, and so that there was like a second show, and that lasted for a while. I watched the Dick Tracy show. That was interesting.
I mean, they had the cars and stuff backstage still.
So this show, the best way I can describe it. So if you've seen Rogers the musical. So like from the Hawkeye thing,
Right.
like it has that vibe for like the musical
Yeah,
numbers. And then like for 10 minutes of this show, it's like what's that British is that Benny Hill? Where
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
they have that for like 10 minutes of the show where they're chasing each other, chasing this diamond round where it's passing from person to person, and it's like they're playing different music, but it feels like that like, you know, chase sequence of like just randomness around the stage
Yeah.
of them chasing each other. It was a very interesting show. You're like, this show could have only been 10 minutes, but it's like a 25-minute show.
did you know about this before you're doing your research?
I knew about the Dick Tracy
That means
show.
you watched that
I
on YouTube.
Yes.
knew
Yes.
that.
I'm judging. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
When you hear some of these things, you're like, I gotta see this show. The Goosebumps.
no, I
ones,
just
that
move
was
on with my
okay.
life and going, nah, I'm good. I don't need it.
Most of these I had seen before. The Dick Tracy one was one that I hadn't seen when doing the research for this episode, and so I was like, I'm gonna watch this one. But I'd seen all of these. The Muppets one is called Here Comes the Muppets. It was in the theater where Little Mermaid is.
Okay.
In the MGM Studios.
So must have been early on.
And it was like it wasn't like a Muppet show. It was like people dressed up as Muppets.
Okay.
That's creepy.
Yeah, and it's so like you have like a really tall Kermit. It's very interesting. And there's
Am
a
I
monorail.
Muppet or a
like,
man.
The monorail
Barry Man named
crashes
Muppet.
into the stage. It's a pretty interesting show. It ran for a while. So yeah, I thought those were kind of like random shows that they used to have.
So
at
is
the
Barbie
parks.
featured in any of the Toy Story?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the parks?
In the parks? I don't think so.
No.
That's why I was wondering.
I don't think. No, this is like 90s, like
Right,
early
I
90s.
understand.
Yeah, because
that. I
you're
was
dealing
just
with
curious.
Mattel, like
Let's see here.
copyrights, and now they're doing their own theme parks. So
Magical World of Barbie was from November 93 to May of 95.
Okay.
I think the shortest running show was, which one was it? The Dinosaurs Live.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which we saw. We saw in 92.
That kid still
that
annoys
lasted
me.
like 4 months. So when we went in 92, we got it there before
right
they
at the right
exited.
time. Okay.
Yeah.
Not the mama.
We went in June. They canceled it in August.
No, I knew my sister's family had seen the Dick Tracy show.
And it was even at Disneyland. The Dick Tracy show was
Yeah.
in both Disneyland and at Disney World.
Yeah.
So,
I did not know.
Yeah. So those are some random facts there.
All right. The next question I have. This one's more of like when someone challenges you when they know you should know this.
Okay.
So this one's for Peter.
Oh boy. Okay.
At the Tower of Terror,
Yes.
what game was abandoned in the lobby?
Oh, Mahjong.
Okay.
Yep. I knew that one because there's a story behind it. Is that they got two professionals. The Imagineers got two professionals to play a game, and then like in the middle of the game, they told them to stop, and they like took a picture of it, and then they copied that.
That's what they said. Said this is a real game that was played for 1 hour by 2 championship players.
Oh.
Peter, you have passed the gate. You may proceed.
Yeah.
Are there any other game boards featured in there, or is that the only game board? I was thinking there was like a chess set.
Chess
down
is
there.
popular,
I
you
don't
know.
think there was a chess set in there.
Okay.
I think that's the only game in there
All right.
that I can think of.
All right. All right, here's a movie one. In Monsters Inc., what is Boo's real name?
What's the witch's name and in
They
Brave?
don't even give her a name in Brave. They call it like the Hag or something. Let's see here. Oh, you're right. She does. I remember hearing this fact someplace.
I think I've heard it recently. Did you mention it to me recently?
No.
Oh, wow. Somebody did.
Oh man.
It was Agatha all along, whispering things in your ears.
All right, you ready?
Sure, go for it.
Boo's real name is Mary, after the voice actress Mary Gibbs. You can see it written on the wall in her drawing in her room.
Okay.
Aw.
She related to the Bee Gees?
Oh, I don't know.
All right, Peter, what do you got?
All right, here we go. Let's do this one. You know, by the time this episode comes out, we just had a presidential election, so I got a presidential one here.
Grover Cleveland.
Grover Cleveland.
He was the one seen on the SNL episode that came alive.
Benjamin Harrison.
Which president
Oh.
had his inaugural parade at Epcot?
Inaugural parade?
Yes, like when he got elected as president of the United States, had his inaugural parade at Epcot.
I think Jimmy Carter.
We're saying 1970s.
Ronald Reagan would be.
Oh, Ronald Reagan, yeah,
I
'cause
know he went back, but I
Epcot.
don't remember any parade involved. But
Yeah,
Oh,
Ronald.
wait, it's at Epcot?
It was at Epcot.
Okay, it's not Carter because it was 81 when Epcot opened.
Right.
So it's Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, and I don't think it was
So it's
Obama
Reagan.
or...
Because he's the one that went back to do the
I'm
conference.
not
and
sure that Reagan. Reagan was elected before Epcot was open.
Well, you can have an inaugural. You have a second one, right? You know, when you get reelected.
Yeah.
They have an inauguration still.
Yeah. What's the answer?
It was Reagan's second
Uh,
time.
Oh.
So the story behind it is when they were going to do the parade for his inauguration, it was too cold. And so the 50 schools and all that stuff, they canceled the parade. And so they just did the swearing in.
Yeah.
And so Disney, they got a hold of the White House and says, why don't you bring it to Epcot? And they contacted all of the schools and all the bands that were going to be a part of the parade. And 25 out of the 50 came and participated in the parade.
World.
Yeah.
And Reagan came and gave a speech at the American
I remember
Pavilion.
Reagan going to Disney World at some point during it, but I didn't realize it
So it
was
would have been
the
in
second-
84.
Yeah, I
Or
don't see
85.
Bush going to Disney World.
When I was working at Disney World, Obama did a speech there.
Yes.
It was a big old like mess security wise.
Oh, I bet it was.
Oh, yeah.
All right, is it my turn?
Yeah.
There is an attraction in 4 different Disney parks, but they're in 4 different lands. Peter knows it.
I know the answer.
I know the answer.
Just
How about
Jackie
you?
know the answer.
Just think about it.
Say it again.
there's an attraction.
Okay.
It is in 4 different parks, and it is in 4 different lands. So this attraction never shares the same land.
It's in a
Say
castle
Winnie
park.
the Pooh?
Nope.
No. It's a
It's
good
in-
guess. That
in
is a good guess.
Is it in 4 parks?
Yes.
I don't. Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, Winnie the Pooh.
I don't know if it's in.
I
It's
don't
in
think it is.
3.
It's in 3. I don't know if it's in 4. Wouldn't be in China.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's not in 4.
Okay. What is
It's
it?
a big one.
Oh, it's a small world?
Nope.
No. Think of the holiday we
think of-
just had.
Think of Jaffe.
Oh, Haunted Mansion?
Yep.
Yes. So you have New Orleans Squares, Liberty Square, Fantasyland in Tokyo, and Frontierland in Paris.
Gotcha.
Yeah, as soon as I said Peter was like, I know this one. I
was
could see it in his
like,
eyes, like, you didn't stump me. I could just
Yep.
see the light
right.
in him.
Yeah.
It's an amateur stumper.
I
Okay.
guess so.
All right.
I thought it was clever.
Walt Disney was in a school play. What was the school play?
It was one where he was Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it was Abraham Lincoln, but
Well, he
what
was
the
also
school
Peter
play?
Pan.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding.
Oh, man.
He was
Bye.
Peter Pan.
I don't know if he was Peter
He
Pan.
was in
He was the
Peter's-
Frenchman that was
Peter.
playing the captain.
Once played. He once played Peter Pan in a school play. So I guess, yes, he was Peter Pan.
Okay. That's right. I do. That's something I forgot.
Well, when you do 5 biographies on the same guy,
You see the pictures and read that same chapter. That it's early on in that biography, so you tend to read
yeah.
that part a lot.
yeah, Peter's ruined anybody that tries to do that biography because it's
know.
all been done
Yeah.
by him over and over.
I know.
I loved it when you put your when your paper in, it said you were plagiarizing yourself.
Plagiarized my own paper.
Yeah.
That was in the early days when they used the internet to like scan those. Now they scan it for like AI.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I've got a heads up on them or a lead up on them. I don't know how to use AI. I'll just use my own brain.
All right.
Is it my turn?
Jackie just went, so I think it's my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this food icon, this character icon was a meet and greet character at Disneyland for many years. What character icon could you meet and greet with at
That's food?
Disneyland? Food related, yes. Even had their own restaurant named after
At
them.
Disneyland?
At Disneyland.
I was
I
thinking
can
of like
only
the-
think of one.
Well, is the restaurant still existing?
No.
So this is probably Toontown.
But the brand still exists.
So is this one that your great grandfather was in a movie with this character?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's
Maybe,
name dropping.
I don't know.
So it's a meet and greet.
It's a character that you can meet at a restaurant.
I ate at that restaurant.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Orange Bird, but that's
No, that's
Disney
Florida.
World.
That's Florida.
Think of it like a real person.
It's not Uncle Ben.
Not anymore.
It's Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima. You
Well, no, I'm right. Yeah, not anymore.
correct. You used to be able to meet Aunt Jemima at Disneyland.
How fun.
And Disneyland and Walt Disney would loved interacting with her all the time.
And your great grandfather Bud Averill was in a movie. He sang in a movie
With
the
the-
same
with an
song
actress.
that Aunt Jemima sang in as well.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Don't ask me the name of the movie. But
All right, this one's for Jackie.
Oh.
At the Caribbean Beach Resort.
Okay.
You used to work there, right?
Yeah, I was in the shoebox.
The shoebox. All right.
In the shoebox, there's a hook. On that hook, there's a butterfly. What color is that butterfly?
How
No.
do you know? How many people were in that shoebox? It was very small.
So, how many buildings are there?
Where?
Buildings?
How many buildings?
At the Caribbean beach.
Oh
Oh
man.
man, that's a tough one.
Okay, are we talking about old Caribbean Beach or the newer one since the new hotel was built?
I'm just pulling what the internet told me to pull. So I'm not a true Disney, gatekeeper on this one.
Well, okay. So there was Barbosa, Aruba. Okay, let me just think how many islands there were first. 2.
We're going to take a moment
3.
here for station identification.
There was like 6 or 7 islands. And there were probably 3 to 4 in each.
So you're somewhere around 25?
Are there that many buildings in there?
It's 300 acres or something like that.
I was surprised by this. I was like, this is very interesting.
We'll say 28.
You're close. 33.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to know how many rooms?
Oh, sure.
1536.
Yeah. It's a big property.
I had no idea that's
It's
how many
It's
rooms.
one of those that, like,
huge.
if you've got the wrong room, you're gonna be hiking. It is a huge resort.
Yeah. Do you know when it opened?
No, it's early.
Yeah, October 1st, 1988.
Yeah, it's early. Well, because it's right by Epcot. So it would be
During that expansion.
around that expansion.
I think it was
so,
close to that, Hollywood
Around
Studios.
Hollywood Studios. Yep.
yeah, no, it's a massive resort. When I did bell service and we had all like the sport groups coming, because all the sport groups would like come and stay at Caribbean Beach or
At
the
sports?
sports. And it
Never
was-
stay at sports.
So this is an early on Eisner development
Yes.
there.
Yeah. No, the resort is massive. You have to, there's a bus to just go around the resort itself.
And over here is building number 28. And then here's building number 29.
Yeah. So,
Sleeping Beauty. She does not have gloves.
nope.
She's royalty.
Yep.
We're looking at a photo of her right now.
Bruce Bruce in the Finding Nemo movie,
Okay.
where did his name come from?
The movie.
The writers came up with an idea and says, let's name him Bruce after this person.
It's an ELO song. Just don't call me Bruce.
So it was named after the mechanical shark used in Jaws, which in turn was named after Steven Spielberg's lawyer.
Oh.
Because he's a shark.
Okay. That's definitely trivia I never knew before.
Okay. This one I'm kind of manipulating and turning it into a question here. So, the Disneyland Hotel was not always owned by Disney.
No.
When did Disney gain ownership of the Disneyland Hotel?
Oh, I just watched something like this recently.
I have no clue.
From Defunctland or something.
Funkland's really good with that.
I'm going to guess it's in the 80s.
You're correct. You're in the right decade.
Would it be in
Okay.
like 85? Like when they just took over everything? Or like when it went, like when Eisner was taking over and they were doing the remodeling of Fantasyland? I figured like, well, we're going to invest more into the parks as opposed to our Black Cauldron film that's going to bomb.
We're going older than 85. Oh, well, not older. Newer than 85.
Also, it was an Eisner purchase. Mr. Hotels. Yes.
He picked out those lampshades.
88. 88 is
88.
when Disneyland officially became... Disneyland Hotel became owned by the Disney company.
That year
When
keeps
he
coming
bought,
up.
when they bought it from the Rather company. When they bought the Rather company.
Was it when did Star Tours come out? Was it 89 or 88?
87?
somewhere in there.
Yeah, there's a lot going
It's
on.
like 87.
Eisner came in and he really shook things up.
Oh yes.
I have to cram for those tests when they have dates like that.
Yeah, you always remember telling me in history you were not very good with like the dates. All right, here's something really hard. Name a female mouse in Cinderella.
Ooh.
What is her name?
There's 3 names.
Yeah, there is.
Lucy.
What was it?
Lucy?
No.
Oh.
It could be German names.
No, it's more simple than that. More common. They're common names, kind of. Maybe
No. Okay.
Getting a
Sour
I'm getting a
look.
sour face from me. No, it's like no. I hope not.
No, I don't remember.
Suzy,
Nope.
Blossom,
You sure that wasn't Susie?
Suszy.
It was probably Susie.
Susie.
Susie, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, Susie.
Suzy.
Su-
I like Suzy better.
Suzy. I was like, I think that's Susie.
This drink's kind of Suzy. And then Persia.
Oh. Priscilla?
Persia. It's I.
Oh.
And what was the Susie?
Blossom.
Blossom. Hmm.
I mean, there was a TV show.
Yeah, I think I'd heard Susie before. That's why.
Well, I got another one with 3 names. Daisy has 3 nieces.
Oh,
What are their names?
my kids watch this show
Mm-hmm.
because they're in I won't say it's new, but the newer Three
They've been brought up,
Caballeros
but
show.
it actually goes all the way back to a
Oh, I know
comic
it
book in the
does.
50s.
It does. I forget what their names are though. I'm gonna assume they're like flower names.
No,
No, not flower names.
they are all interconnected. So if you guess the theme,
Right.
and they're not like weird names, like you hear it and you're like, yeah, I know
So,
people with
like,
names like that.
Colors?
Nope, not colors.
Like, is it related kind of to Daisy's overall theme?
No,
Okay.
Are they kind of reminders of Huey, Louie, and Dewey?
they're interconnected. When I say it, you're like, oh, okay, but they're not. They don't rhyme with them.
Right.
But the girls' names rhyme.
They don't rhyme. They
Oh,
just go together.
All right,
okay.
just
They're
tell
part of a
us.
sequence. Think calendar.
Oh, April, May, June.
Nailed it.
Ah.
I knew it was in the back of my mind because my kids watched the Three Caballeros show.
He just couldn't follow that neural path.
Yeah, and then you said months. I'm like April, May, June. There it is. Mm-hmm.
All right. In 1971, an adult ticket to Disney World
Ooh, Disney.
cost how much?
This was when it just opened.
I saw this fact too. It was like $1.50. It was something.
That seems low. I'm gonna say
It was like $3.50.
I'm gonna
or something
say
like that.
Because you had
$12.
you had to buy your tickets separately. They
Right.
still had the A through E tickets.
Right.
So it is probably.
Oh,
it-
the admission.
This
The
is just the
admission.
admission.
So you can
price,
come in the park, but not actually like do any
Correct.
rides.
which
Correct.
I kind of wish they had.
For people that like just the atmosphere.
Just the
Yeah.
atmosphere to go shopping. You know, I just want to go in there and shop. Do
Well,
I
would
have
you like to
buy-
pay a fee to go to
I don't wanna
downtown
pay-
Disney? That would stink, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to pay $200 to go shopping.
Well, the only reason I'm sure Disney would be okay doing that, but they know people will try to abuse that. And
Yeah, you don't have the ticket system.
Right.
Not yet.
unless you're giving people wristbands.
Peter had it right. $3.50.
$3.50.
$3.50. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking without the book, like I think, or I was including the book
Right.
with that.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good fact. You got anything else, Peter?
Sure. What is the first building built at Disneyland? The first building built at
The
Disneyland.
contractor office.
You're not far off.
It's
You're
got to
not
be
far
some
off.
admin office.
You're not far
Well,
off. in
wasn't there a
terms-
house on Disney property?
Well, no, we're talking about the construction.
Like, during the
of, like, what was the
building.
first thing that they built for Disneyland?
I would think City Hall.
Can we get a
Of
what
where?
landed
Main Street.
Okay.
Is it still existing today?
The building is still there.
Is it the firehouse?
It is not the firehouse.
Okay. So yeah, City Hall sounds like a good one.
It is not City Hall.
The Indomitable Emporium.
The castle?
Nope.
No.
That's not Main Street.
Yeah.
It's the Opera House. They
Really?
Used,
That was the first
they
one.
used it as a lumber yard
Okay.
when they first built it. So
Okay.
all the lumber to build Disneyland was done in the Opera House.
That's it. That's a good one.
There's a lot of speculation as to whether or not that structure is the Opera House. Like it's been known that that's where it was.
There was structure put there first.
Right. And so that people have been saying for years that the Opera House was the lumberyard, but then there were some recent photos that had come out that kind of indicate that building was actually taken down and then they rebuilt. So there's a lot of confusion about
Is that the first?
right.
But it is a structure.
Correct.
Yeah.
So is
So a building formerly or priorly known as.
It was a building in the location of
That's
the
some,
Opera House.
that's some true Disney like knowledge right there.
so the first soundtrack was Two Brothers, right?
That's right.
Two brothers stubbed their thumbs. One went home and other cried. All right. How many original attractions from opening day at Disneyland?
Oh.
Disneyland.
How many were there?
How
Are-
many are still there that are original to opening day at Disneyland?
It's like 17 or something like that.
You're wrong.
Let me count it in my hand.
I'll say it's less than that.
It's less than that.
You've got Autopia, the Carousel, Peter Pan, Mr. Toad.
Are you talking about opening day?
Opening day
So
of
Dumbo's
Disneyland.
not there.
Dumbo's not on.
No,
You gotta
they give it an
think- you gotta
honorary because it showed up a
think-
couple months, but then they're like, it's not.
You
I'm not
gotta-
counting it.
Railroad.
You got to think on the 50th anniversary, each attraction that was there, they made it gold.
Well, they gave attractions that opened that year. So like Dumbo got one, but it doesn't count. as an opening
Are
day.
the
That's good deductive reasoning using that. Like, just think about that
Yeah.
and just try to work from that. Dumbo is not on this list. There's one on here that I just go like, okay.
Is this like the Main Street vehicles are on there, like the omnibus or the fire
No.
truck?
Omnibus wouldn't be there.
They did not include
Omnibus.
those. I would imagine those
Monorail?
weren't there because it was
No,
too
no.
crazy.
No, not
Monorail was
Monorail.
59.
No, you're right. So Autopia's one.
Yeah.
Peter Pan,
Yep.
Mr. Toad,
Yep.
the
Snow White.
Carousel,
Yep.
Snow White, yeah.
Yep.
Mark Twain.
Yep.
Mark Twain.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Jungle,
Tom Sawyer Island, is that an attraction or is the rafts?
No.
No.
Jungle Cruise.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Jungle Cruise.
Shooting range. Does that count?
No.
You're saying rides,
Attractions.
attractions.
Well, technically,
Well,
the
there's
shooting
no-
range was an attraction.
Were the canoes? No, the canoes weren't there. And Mike Feet.
You've got two
wasn't
more
there.
in Fantasyland. Three more.
Okay,
Storybook.
so Storybook
Yep.
Land.
Casey
Yeah,
Jr.
there wasn't
Casey Jr.
much on that, but
Yeah.
and Casey Jr. Okay, so how many was that?
I think you're short like two. So the two that you didn't mention was the Disneyland Band.
Okay.
Okay.
Like that's why I was like, all right, I guess. You're like, all right. What was the other one that? And the Main Street Cinema.
Okay, all right.
So, and of that, what is the oldest ride?
I know this one.
The oldest.
I know this
I know
one.
this one.
Give me an easy one. Softball.
In terms of like the first
It's
one that
gotta
actually had guests.
Gotta be the
on it.
carousel
Yes.
because
Yeah.
the carousel
It was
was
not.
it was used someplace else.
Right.
Do we
Yeah.
know when it was originally built?
It was somewhere not even in the 1900s, if I'm not mistaken.
It was in the 1900s.
It was in the 1900s.
It was
okay.
early, and wasn't it like New Jersey or something like that? It was like
New Jersey. It's 1922 when it was originally.
1922. Okay.
And some of the horses are still.
Oh, it was the Calliope by Dumbo that I think came from pre-1900.
That could be. All those random organs you like.
All right.
Yeah.
How many years would it take to sleep in every single room at Disney World?
Oh man.
How many years?
How many
Well, we already
years?
said 1,500 in
For
one resort.
resort.
I'm gonna say 15 years. It's so
Oh,
like.
it's got to be more than that.
You think so?
It's got to be like, in the 70 years or something.
That would take a long time. I wouldn't have a guess.
In the Walt Disney World.
Yeah, 68 years.
I was close, 70.
Wow, that was really good.
That
And I
was
don't
good.
even know how accurate that is because there's a couple of new resorts. So
It's a lot. Do I really want to sleep in each
A
and every
lifetime.
room? No, I don't.
All right,
I'm
we got.
stuck at the Caribbean.
All right, let's do one more. Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
I've been shut out of this fandom kind of. Peter's winning, I think. He's got a lot.
So what major structure can you fit inside the aquarium at Epcot in the Living Seas?
What?
Oh, that's huge. I
I
did the
think I've
report on that
heard
What
one.
that.
what major structure can you fit?
I think you could put Epcot in there. The Spaceship Earth.
Yes, Spaceship Earth. You can fit inside the aquarium in the seas. You got
Okay.
it. You can pass. You shall pass.
I shall pass. I did a report on this. I spent hours watching stupid YouTube videos about this land.
See, who said that this podcast comes with pointless information?
You
I've-
Helped you out for
I've-
this moment. Everything that led up to has led you to this moment to answer that question.
No, it's my brother's obsession with old
Epcot.
80s Epcot. That's what's led me to this point. And I got dragged into it.
Yes, you
Is
did.
it-
I've enjoyed it though. I've learned a lot and I've appreciated it.
Is it a point or pointless?
I don't know. At this point, I'm not even going to indulge it anymore. All right, you got something, Jackie? One last one.
Drum roll, please.
Sorry.
It's just siblings being siblings.
Yes. All right. Let me try to rework this into a question. All right. So Glenn Keane was the animator to Aladdin, and he studied a singer for Aladdin. Which singer did he study many hours?
John Stamos.
No.
He was with the Beach Boys.
My first thought is Frank Sinatra.
What singer would he use as kind of a character model for Aladdin?
Oh, for Aladdin.
Yeah. So he designed Aladdin, and he had to study.
The person Aladdin, not the movie Aladdin.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
'Cause
the
I'm thinking
animation.
of the genie, but
Yes, and it was a singer that he studied. Which singer did he study? I had to reword it so I didn't give it away. So,
I mean, the only one that comes to mind is like Michael Jackson, but I don't know if that would be accurate. I don't think that fits.
Is it George Michaels?
it's a popular singer during.
The 80s.
Yeah.
Because it's like they started it at least in the 90s, like 1990, I think. Takes like what, 3 years to get an animated feature from start to finish.
popular singer, yeah.
So who's around there?
Duran Duran. I don't know.
Think about
Singer,
what
person.
Aladdin wears.
A vest.
MC Hammer.
Yeah,
Oh wow,
it is.
Baggy
MC
pants.
Hammer. He had to study MC
pants.
Hammer's
Hammer
pants.
time.
Yep,
That's a good one. I like that one.
he had to-
That one's worth knowing.
He had to
What?
study.
My roast hash is not? Walt is rolling around in his cryo tube right now.
Yeah, in order to capture the movement of Aladdin's pants, he had to study MC Hammer. So he had to watch many hours of his videos.
Honey, I'm doing homework. It's 2 in the morning.
He said,
Time.
So, and you felt bad about all those movies you watched about the sea, you know?
Yes, my wife's like, what are we watching right now? This is a movie about a mountain and people climbing it. It's really important. I have to watch it. It's like, why are you watching this? Foreshadow. All right, my last one. We're opening day at Disneyland. How many attractions, rides, and exhibits were there for people to experience?
Opening day.
Opening day, everything that they could see.
It was like 22.
No.
Dang it.
I don't know.
23.
No.
Let's just go
Higher.
D23.
Higher than
Okay.
Peter's. What do you got?
Is it in the 30s?
It's in the 30s.
Hey!
But it's 35.
35.
It's in the 30s.
It is in the 30s.
Yeah, there are 35 attractions for people to experience on day one. Except for like hopping the fence one.
Right.
That one was free for
Climbing.
those who climbed over.
Yeah.
George Lucas.
That was a
No.
bonus. It was an Easter egg.
That was that was a freebie. All right. Well, thank you for indulging in our Disney gatekeeping here. It was fun to hear some of the obscure random facts that, some Disney fan may use against you. I really doubt someone's going to ask you about roast beef hash
But now,
or MC Hammer Pants.
but
Yeah,
now you
you
could
can-
be a know-it-all and be like, "Did you know?"
How is MC Hammer related to Disney? You know?
The thing is, you can't know it all. And so just enjoy it for what it is. And if somebody tries to test you, just be like, oh, I love great facts. Just, what do you got? Because we've been around, we tell people we're Disney fans and they'll be like, oh, really? And you're like, I'm not that type of Disney fan. I always downplay it. Like, there's always, you see the people on YouTube and you realize, like, I know nothing compared to some of these people.
Oh yeah.
That as you said, like defunct land.
Oh, Defunct Land.
That
yeah.
one I'm just like blown away with what they can
Oh,
pull
man.
up, and
They're
they do
so
find the
good.
interview of the people that
He's
created it.
amazing. The person who's in charge of that YouTube channel, he is like, honestly, give him a spot on Disney Plus. Like, his work is amazing.
Yeah.
He and give him the resources that he needs, he could create some really good content.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you guys have an obscure Disney fact, send it to us. We love being challenged a little bit to think, and we're not afraid to go like, yeah, I don't know. That's just,
Yeah.
we're not built upon this identity of like, we are the Disney fans.
No.
We're just Disney fans, and we enjoy the products that have come up and have shaped our lives. And so we just appreciate knowing a little bit of the magic, or a little bit more of how it came about. So with that being said, Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember,
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.